Howdy! Let's learn about Access Chapter 4, Professional Forms and Reports. And this is where you extract the data and you put it in a format that your customers can more readily understand. We're going to do the guided practice problem. So get your information downloaded. And of course, after we've downloaded our base project, we have to enable the content, and again give you the warning that that enable content button is not a trivial matter. You have to understand that Access, Excel, and whenever you're using merge in Word, it can actually make changes to your computer, and you need to be aware of that, and only allow the content when you know it's from a trusted source. So our first task in instruction number 2 is to select the speaker table as a record source for a form. Use the form tool to create a new form with stacked layout. So this is so much easier if I click on the speaker table and then form, and it wants us to use the form tool to create a new form with stacked layout. So I'm going to click form. And it said stacked layout. So as usual, whenever you open a particular tool, you get extra toolbars. So our form layout tools here are design, arrange, and format. In the design tab, it'll take a moment to open. There we go. And we have arrange and we have format. It's the arrange tab that we want to choose the stacked layout. So now we have the stacked layout. We want to change the title of the form header to Enter Edit Speakers. So this is the form header. How about I just click there, Enter Edit Speakers, and reduce the width of the text control boxes to approximately half their original size. So I'm going to scroll here and I want to check layout view here, and then when I hover over the edge I should get my little double-headed arrow. Alright, so I'm looking for my little arrow. When I click in that field, I will get that double-headed arrow, and I can just drag it to approximately half that size. And that would satisfy instruction number 3. Now we are wanting to delete the session subform control, and that would be the subform control down here. And if I click on this little intersection of the box, just like the tables in Word, you're going to find that you can right click, and I can actually just hit the delete button. And hit the delete button once you get that selected, and we have deleted that subform control from it. We want to view the form and data in form view. So I'm going to right click up here and go to form view. There we go. And sort the records by the last name in ascending order. So I'll click in the last name field, and I'm going to right click, and ascending is A to Z. And I want to save the form as Edit Speakers and close the form. So I'm going to hit the Save button. Going to hit it again. There we go. Edit Speakers. It already has speakers in there, so I'll put my cursor in front of that and go Edit and hit OK. And then it wants me to close the form, so I'll use a little X up here, and I will close the form, and we will be on to our next instruction. Our next instruction, which is instruction number 5, says open the room information form in the layout view and select all controls on the form and apply the stacked layout. So I'm going to open the room information, and in layout view I can just do Control A, and that selects all of the forms, and then I go to the range again And I have to look back and see what's the stacked layout. So it really doesn't look much different. And then we want to switch to form view and then save the form and close. So I'm going to switch to form view and I'm going to save it and close it. And there we go. Our next instruction, number 6, says to select the speaker and room schedule query as a record source for a report and activate the report wizard using the following options as you proceed through the steps. So, speaker and room schedule, create, and it wants the report and it instructs us to use the report wizard. And it says to select all of the available fields for the report. So if I click this button, it'll move all of them over at once. View the data by speaker. So we're going to go next and view data by speaker. Verify that last name and first name are the grouping levels. There we go. Last name and first name. And use date as the primary sort field in ascending order. So on the next one, do you want to apply groupings? Last name, first name, we've got that. And we want to apply date in ascending order. And then we want to accept the stepped and portrait options. So next, stepped, portrait, next. And we want to save the report as speaker schedule. Finish. There we go. And it says to switch to the layout view. So we'll go right here and we'll switch to layout view. And then it wants us to apply the organic theme to this report only. And in our format tab, actually that would be our design tab and our themes here. And we want organic. Office, gallery, integral, retrospect, organic right there, except that we missed possibly one step. Organic. Apply theme to this object only. There we go. Save and close the report. So we're going to hit save and we're going to hit close. So remember to right click that when you choose that theme and make sure you apply it to that object only. Alright, our next instruction is instruction number 8, and it says to open the speaker and room schedule query in design view. Speaker and room schedule query, design view. There we go. And then it wants us to add the starting time field in the sessions table to the design grid. So I can pull this down so that I can see my things a little bit better. So in the sessions, it wants the starting time field added. After the date field, that is after the date field, good. Run the query, save and close the query. So I'm going to run it. There we go. And I'm going to save it. And I'm going to close it. Now I want to click the speaker and room schedule query and activate, so it's already selected. I don't really have to click it again. I want to activate the report wizard again and use the following options. So create and report wizard, and it says that I want to select all available fields for the report, so I just click that one button, next, and view the data by speakers, and it's by speakers. And then use last name and first name fields as grouping levels. Last name, first name. So I've got last name and first name there. And then it wants to use date as the primary sort in ascending. So date, ascending. And the secondary sort is starting time. And it also wants that ascending. It wants us to accept stepped and portrait options. Stepped and portrait are both selected. Next, we're giving it the name speaker schedule revised. And it's not speakers, so you know that the grading engine will catch it if you leave that S in there. Finish. We want to switch to the layout view and apply the facet theme to this report only. So I'm going to go to layout, and then I'm going to go to themes, and I'm going to find facet. There it is. I'm going to right click and apply theme to this object only. We want to adjust the widths of the columns and other controls so that the data is visible and fits across the page. So this field is not wide enough. And this field, let's see, we could make that one a little narrower. We could make this one, and let's look at this one. Let's pull date. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? There. We can make this one a little bit smaller. Date. Starting time. We're losing our S. We need to see our S. We are completely losing. So let's do this and this. Okay, so I used control, and that way I got everything selected at once, and I can adjust. Oh, I didn't want to do that. There we go. So I got it over there, maybe a little bit further than I wanted. Use control and select the title too. I'll move that over a little bit. My arrow keys will move it over, and that is better. Let's come back this way a little bit. Don't need to go quite that far, and it could stand to be a little bit wider. With the understanding diversity within the university, we are not getting all of that, are we? Let's try to move this over a little bit. Let's come this way. So I'm going to arrow over. Oh, it's not so bad. Actually, I think the grading engine on this one is kind of gentle and not real picky as long as you get it pretty close. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. There we go. That looks so much better. And we applied it. We adjusted the widths of all the columns and fits on the pages. Switched to report view to ensure that the adjustments were appropriate. Oh, look at that. My title doesn't fit there, so I needed to make that a little bit bigger. So let's switch to print preview. Oh, actually it told us to go to report view. And look at that date. That is so not working. My date, oh, it looks fine there. Okay, so that's the view it told us to go to make sure that it was okay. Add spaces to column headings on table so that it displays as two words where appropriate. For example, change room ID to room ID. And so here it's saying that in our titles, we have to switch back in order to be able to edit it. Let's go back to design view. Actually, I didn't want to go to design view because that's way more complicated than you have to be. So here we go. Just get my cursor in there. Oops, wrong space. And fix room ID, session title, starting time. Okay, that was basically what it was telling us to do. And then save and close the report and submit it as directed. So I'm going to save. And I'm going to close, and it turns out that this is probably not one of the more difficult assignments that you have had. All right, attempted to open a database that's been opened by another user. Oh, look at that. The admin on my machine is one of bee. Okay, well, you know I'm a beekeeper, so anyway, everything is about bees. All right, well, y'all have a great day, and I hope that that was helpful, and finish this up. And we will be on to PowerPoint after this.